do that, what I'm going to do while they bring you another microphone, I'm going to get John's perspective on the video because you were sitting on stage, and I'd really like to get your viewpoint on that. How could you sum up what we need to do going forward? We've talked about your experience in the past, but what do we need to do to move the dial in the future?
So one of the things, I guess something that's said by a lot of Indigenous communities is nothing about us without us. And so, how do we ensure that value stays within communities, and is we ensure that we involve those communities in understanding. We heard about involving people up front before decisions are made, and so that's incredibly important. Involving youth, before decisions are made, and so in part of that opportunity exploring exercise, and so I think that's incredibly important. But also important to that is, I think, reiterating what Prime Minister said, that the energy crisis or climate crisis is a global phenomenon, and we really struggle in Canada because we're not one of the major contributors in terms of emissions. Yet we supply a lot of the natural resources for energy production. And so how do we support this transition? There's a large play in Canada to develop natural gas as a transition fuel to offset the development of coal, which is much higher emissions intensity producing energy. And so Indigenous people are very much part of that conversation, where they're also feeling engaged and part of the helping to kind of transition and move away to less or move away from those high emission intensity energies to less emission and to renewables as well too. And so involving organizations up front is incredibly important. Involving communities up front is incredibly important. Decisions shouldn't be made in isolation somewhere out of corporate office or government. It should be involved in that democratic process where it's supported by people. So.
Well, let me bring you back, Greg.